The numbers tell the story better than any words can. The Democrats have a majority, but just barely. The vice president breaks the tie in the 50-50 Senate. The question is, can the Democrats keep that majority in a very difficult midterm election year climate? 35 Senate elections in all. Let's look at 3 likely to determine which party controls this chamber come January. Let's start in Pennsylvania. No incumbent here. Pat Toomey, the Republican, is retiring. Democrat John Fetterman versus Dr. Oz. You know him from TV. He's the Republican candidate backed by Donald Trump. So let's go back in time, the 2020 presidential race. What will we look for on election night? We will start over here in the Pennsylvania suburbs. The Democrats need to run it up here. Fetterman, now the lieutenant governor, was mayor of Braddock. It's out here near Pittsburgh. Can he do what Joe Biden did in, say, Montgomery County? These are the suburbs outside of Philadelphia. Look at Joe Biden's margins. That's why he's president of the United States. The suburbs went against Trump in 2018, even more so in 2020. Can Fetterman match Biden in the Philadelphia suburbs? That is one key test. The other question, the flip side of that is, can Mehmet Oz run like George W. Bush or George H.W. Bush did in these suburbs? They used to be Republican suburbs, or at least open to Republicans. Can Dr. Oz do that? Another big question, this was one of Donald Trump's favorite counties in Pennsylvania, had a big rally here. Can Dr. Oz get the Trump base? Do they view him as one of them, or do they view him as a suspect Republican? And John Fetterman says, I can get those white blue-collar voters who left the Democratic Party for Donald Trump. So for Oz and Fetterman, a place like Butler County will be critical come election night. Let's go down to another marquee race, Georgia. Marquee because you have a Democratic incumbent, Raphael Warnock. Marquee because you have a football hero, Republican Herschel Walker. Interesting because you also have a libertarian candidate here, and on Georgia on election night, if you don't get 50% plus 1, then we have a runoff in December. So that's one big thing to look for in Georgia. What else do we look for? Just like in Pennsylvania, Joe Biden won Georgia because he won in the suburbs. Here's Atlanta, the black Democratic base. Obviously, Senator Warnock needs that. But how does he do in places like Rockdale County? You're moving away from Atlanta, right? Traditionally, Republican or purple suburbs, they have become more Democratic, especially in the Trump age. Can Senator Warnock get anything like that? Or can Herschel Walker prove that he can contest for the suburbs? And just like Dr. Oz, as a newcomer to politics, Herschel Walker has to prove, if he is to win, see all that red? That is Donald Trump's strength in white rural America. Can Herschel Walker, in a place like Dodge County, not a lot of votes, it's small, but they add up if you win all these small counties by margins like that. Another thing to look for, can Walker run anywhere close to Trump among Republicans in white rural areas? One more. Let's come back to the Senate map and let's move out west to the state the Democrats are most worried about, and it's a surprise. Nevada. You have a Democratic incumbent here. She is a Latina. This is a state where the Latino vote is critical. So why is Democrat Catherine Cortez Masto in some trouble? Number one, black salt is a big brand name in Nevada politics. So you have a very close race between a Democratic incumbent and a very well-known Republican. To win Nevada, you have to win Clark County, and you have to win big. Clark County is the home to Vegas. If you can see that up there, it's nearly 75%. It's around 74% of the statewide population. If you can run it up here, you can win. It was reasonably close last time, right? Joe Biden just won Nevada. That was a surprise to many Democrats. They thought he'd have a bigger margin. Why? Donald Trump made inroads among Latino voters, especially male Latino voters. So one of the tests as we watch the Senate race this time is, can the incumbent, a Latina, dominate the Latino vote? That is critical. Or do Republicans keep making inroads? That could make that one incredibly close as we move from east to Midwest to west and count the votes come election night.